Hey, I told you, victim. Yo, victim 3 wasn't never a victim. What's up, Michael? Biz, Project Baby, what it do? Yo, victim 3 wasn't never a victim. Remember, I was telling y'all that. Yo, the last, the last 3 victims ain't victims. It ain't no victims in Diddy case, y'all. Like it was all willing participants. Yeah, right. It was all willing participants, man. It was all ex-girlfriends. What's up, Edward? Robert, what it do? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't even gonna lie tonight. I'm tired of this shit for real. And ain't really too much going on in the world other than India, than bomb Pakistan. I thought that was wild, but y'all know I don't give a fuck about what's going on over there. But at the same time, it might have some ramifications over here. They say it might be itching toward World War III. You know what I mean? They might be inching towards it. What's up? So Diddy day 2. Got Diddy day 2. We got Wack 100 still a rat. And whatever else is going on the internet. Let's see what's going on Instagram first. We gotta check into my man Scandalous in Los Angeles. Yo funny as shit. He dropped another video of Wack lying. The habitual liar. And YouTube on bullshit. You know how it is. What's up, Frank? You know how it is, man. So you got the game. Game ready to lose it all. Fuck around with this girl, man. Out here sexually assaulting women and shit. Then they don't want to kick out the bread. So Game loses $4 million Calabasas mansion. $4 million Calabasas mansion. And his sexual accuser after refusing to pay $7 million judgment. Man, I asked Wack, what's up with that? Wack is involved in this. Wack been helping Game move around his money and shit. I think she's suing Wack ass too. You over this bitch keep talking about Big U. It ain't they Big U got going on. Let's talk about your bitch ass, nigga. So, what it say? The Game won't have any Rolls Royces and white ceilings to rap about soon, according to All Hip Hop. A Los Angeles judge disapproved the sale of his multi-million-dollar Calabasas mansion to help cover the $7.13 million he still owes Priscilla Rainey, the woman who sued him for sexual assault. Rainey took the Game to court back in 2015 after claiming he violated her during the filming of his VH1 reality show, She Got Game. Instead of showing up to defend himself at trial in 2016, he ignored it. The jury hit him with $1.13 million in damages and another $6 million in punitive damages for basically treating the whole process like a joke. Fast forward to now, after years of ducking and dodging the judgment, Rainey finally got the green light on May 2nd, 2025 to snatch up his Calabasas home. Game tried to argue that the house was protected under the California homestead exemption because it was owned by JTT Holdings, LLC, but the court wasn't buying it. Rainey's legal team convinced the judge that the company was just a front created by Game and his manager, Wack 100. Ask Wack 100 need to address this. What's up with Game, man? To keep the house out of her hands. The court agreed, ruling that even if Game has a stake in JTT Holdings, it doesn't shield him from the debt. She's already come for his royalties and other business assets, and now she's taking the house too. Zillow estimates the property worth around $4 million, but even if it sells for that, Game will still owe her close to $3 million. God damn, shorty. she took that boy to the claims. What the fuck yo do to that girl, man? What the fuck Game do to that girl? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that shit? Game 2015 sexual assault.
According to Vibe.com, the Game loses California home to sexual assault accuser over $7 million debt. The Game has been adamant in his avoidance of paying Priscilla Rainey, whose claims he vehemently denies.
What the fuck yo do? What's up, Biz? It said the suit claims that in 2015, May 22nd, 2015, Gang was out of control, drunk and on drugs, and assaulted her throughout the filming of the show, forcibly reaching his hands inside her dress to, oh, dang. The Gang legal team said the claims were false and that it was a scheme to shake down the rapper for money. However, the rapper team was barred from trying to discredit Randy by citing her time spent in a mental institution as a worker. Oh, she a sex worker. But these niggas be putting themselves in the dumbest situations. He just like Shannon Sharp. Yo got took the claims by a sex worker. These niggas stupid. These dumbass niggas. Yeah, these niggas is crazy. The crazy thing about it, see, this is the difference between her and the white girl. The crazy thing about it, she would have settled. If he'd came with a couple of eyes, she'd have settled. That motherfucking white girl Shannon Sharp was fucking with she worth 50 million. She ain't settling for nothing. Nothing less, nothing more. I need a 50 piece. Man, I don't give a fuck about the Gang, what he got going on. Should have took that shit serious, man. Yo, look at this though. I like this. If your kid hits a teacher, you may go to jail under Georgia's Parent Accountability Act, proposed by a teachers union. Yo, this is a great idea right here. That's what they need to do, yo. Instead of focusing on the goddamn children, yo, focus on the parents. Make these parents be parents. That's what's wrong with the world today. Everybody blaming it on the kids. Nah, man. These parents don't want to be parents no more, man. Make them motherfuckers parent them children, man. Make it so it's consequences for that shit. I bet you start seeing some changes then. Not locking them up, sending them to prison. You ain't gonna see no changes locking kids up, sending them to prison. That ain't changing nothing. But you start coming down on them parents, I bet shit start changing over time. Ain't nobody trying to be missing work, going to jail and shit, because you got an unruly child. The Georgia Federation of Teachers just proposed the Georgia Parent Accountability Act, which would punish parents if their child attacks a teacher. Penalties could include fines, community service at schools, or even jail time, though no specific sentence was outlined. The moves comes as violence against teachers has surged, with 755 cases reported in Georgia schools last year, nearly double what was reported during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, the union says rising aggression shows a lack of discipline and a lack of support at home. The act also calls for mental health screens for grades 6 through 9, staff training. I don't like this. Whenever they get to talk about mental health, they talking about medication. I don't think they need medication. I think they just need attention. You know what I mean? Staff training and de-escalation and parenting class for repeat offenders' families. With some support the push, critics like the Cobb County Superintendent Devin Horton, whatever, says it's not always fair to blame parents and that schools should focus more on mentorship and emotional support. I like mentorship. One incident in DeKalb where students attacked the teacher sparked debate after it was posted online. The idea of charging parents for their children's assets is gaining traction in Georgia. A parent was recently charged in connection with a school shooting, and lawmakers have discussed on the same for threats, though that didn't become law. What y'all think about that? Do y'all think that's a valuable option? Y'all think that's gonna work? I like it. At least try it. Try that before you start sending them to prison. Who remembers this case? Y'all remember Calvin Crew? Y'all remember this guy that robbed the lady, the Uber driver, and killed her? I said we can find that shit. That was fucking crazy. See, y'all, I'm against senseless murders, y'all. I think most people know that. What's his name? Calvin what? Crew. That was in Pittsburgh. This is unnecessary. This is an unnecessary murder.
Breaking news right now. A man convicted of killing an Uber driver 3 years ago is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Thanks for joining us. I'm Erica Moke. A judge sentenced Calvin Crew to life in prison. Our Ross Gadati was inside the courtroom during that sentencing.
The judge, the prosecuting attorneys, as well as defense attorneys, members of both the family of the victim and the accused were in the courtroom this morning. Conspicuously absent convicted killer Calvin Crew. Judge E.J. Borkowski started the proceedings by telling those assembled that Crew declined to attend today's hearing and would not leave his cell at the Allegheny County Jail.
Come on, bro. See, that be that bullshit. Yo, stand on it, my nigga. Like, yo, why you want face your consequence? See, that's that young generation shit. I respect much more with Rodney Hinton Jr. and how he carried it. I can respect yo for that. Regardless if it was right or wrong, however people feel about it, you gotta respect the person that take accountability for their actions. Yo, you did that. Go in that motherfucking courtroom, look at that judge in the face, look at the family, yo, and accept your consequences, my nigga. Don't be a bitch about it. I don't respect y'all for that.
Jail. Crew's defense attorney spoke on his behalf, saying that Crew fell through society's cracks and had a tough childhood, as well as being intellectually and socially challenged with an IQ of 84. Crew accused of killing Christina Spicuzza in November of 2022 in a robbery turned homicide. When it was their turn, the victim's family addressed the court to include her mother.
Hey, Dick, what the fuck is you talking about? What you call? Let's talk about it. Jacob, call my Instagram and let's talk about black people being racist. Let me show you. Let's go to Instagram so we can have a detailed conversation. Don't you think that's worth a conversation? I think that's more worth a conversation than just a comment in the chat. Keep it G News, Instagram. Let's talk about it. Fuck boy.
Telling Crew that the only reason he wasn't getting the death penalty was because they believed that Christina, a Christian, would not approve of it. Christina's sister, Chantel, addressed the absent Crew, saying, "We didn't lose my sister, you took her from us," calling him selfish. The most emotional testimony, however, came from Brandon Marto, Christina Spicuzza's fiance. Sobbing heavily at times, Marto credited his would-be wife for pulling him out of alcoholism, and said the couple's 7-year-old daughter cried herself to sleep last night over the loss of her mother. Marto went on to call Crew a coward, saying that he hopes he rots and burns in prison. The judge also pointing out that Calvin Crew maintains his innocence and will be appealing his conviction. Downtown Ross Gadati, KDKA TV News.
Yo, this was a senseless crime. Y'all don't remember this? This is a senseless crime, man. Like one of the dumbest. Fuck you kill an Uber driver for, bro. An Uber driver? Like she out there bitch trying to make extra money so she ain't got no money. Shit was stupid.
Hi, Rutanea. How are you today? I'm sorry?
Keep driving.
You've got to be joking.
Keep driving.
What are you doing?
This is advice. Keep driving.
No, it's not. Stop. Come on, man. I got a family. What are you
I got a
doing?
family too. Now drive.
What are you doing?
Drive.
Please stop.
Drive the car, miss.
Why are you doing this?
Don't make this so noticeable. Just drive.
Why are you doing
Shit was
this?
dumb.
The car.
To where?
Complete the trip.
I cannot do that.
Complete the trip.
Why are you doing this?
Complete the trip.
Please.
Complete the trip.
Please
Drive.
stop. Please, I'm begging you.
I'm begging
I have
you,
4
drive the
kids.
car.
What are you
Drive
doing?
the car. Complete it. Now drive.
off of me. Please. No.
Keep driving. Do what I say and everything will be alright.
That shit was stupid, bro.
Get up to 1,000.
That was dumb as shit, shorty. You threw your life away on some dumb shit.
Chaos at court as a man accused of killing a sheriff's deputy a day after his son
What's up,
was
Scott?
shot by a police officer asked to be released on bail. I lay out the horrific chain of events out of Ohio and where the case could be heading.
Are you familiar with the acts of someone that is not in their right mind when they commit a criminal act?
I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Before I get into this case out of Ohio, I want to talk a little bit about true crime news and law and crime murder. Henderson was rushed to the shot and killed on purpose. Somebody, local trauma center, but there was nothing. A man named Rodney Hinton Jr. in Cincinnati working though occasionally for the beginning of June. We'll pick 10 new docket subscribers and we'll send a law and crime hat to them. Winners will be announced in the newsletter. Now to the case out of Ohio, where Larry Henderson had retired as a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy last December. He was still working, though, occasionally for that sheriff's office in Cincinnati doing special details. Last Friday, he was doing that, directing traffic for graduation at the University of Cincinnati when police say a man named Rodney Hinton Jr. deliberately drove his vehicle into Henderson at this intersection. Deputy Henderson was rushed to the local trauma center, but there was nothing that could be done to save him. Within hours, he passed away from these devastating injuries. You're probably asking yourself, why would anybody deliberately drive a vehicle into somebody, much less a sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic at a college graduation? Well, police say Rodney Hinton Jr. did this on purpose, possibly to avenge the death of his son, Ryan Hinton. Ryan Hinton was 18 years old, and a day earlier, a Cincinnati police officer shot and killed him after encountering him and some others in a car that had been reported stolen out of Kentucky. Here's the police chief.
Officers across the country confront dangerous situations every day, sometimes more than once a day. They are often compelled to make split-second decisions to protect others.
No, he didn't have to shoot that boy, man. Like I said, yo, but the problem is, yo, a lot of these officers be scared as shit. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of these officers don't have no connection to the community. And they be scared as a motherfucker. But the problem is, yo, when you become an officer, yo, you can't, yo, you know what you're getting yourself into, especially if you become an officer in a high crime area. Like, if you work in a high crime area, yo, you got to know what you're dealing with. And these officers don't know the people of the community. They treat everybody like criminals. And in this situation, he wasn't in imminent danger because his back was turned to him. Like he shot the boy in the back. Then they lied and said that he turned around and pointed the gun at the officer. No, the fuck he didn't. They're gonna show the video here. They must give them clearance because when I try to show the video, they copyrighted my shit. They better not copyright my fucking video. I'm gonna appeal it if they do.
And themselves when faced with immediate threats. Yesterday was one of those occurrences. Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic. No one wins, and everyone involved is affected.
Police Chief Teresa Thigi outlined what occurred. It's something the Cincinnati Police Department does within 24 hours of an officer-involved shooting taking place.
Where the incident occurred is at the dead end of the parking lot back here. You'll see vehicles there now. You'll see a photo. The stolen car that we're going to talk about was backed into a parking spot back there. As you can see, this is a stolen Kia. It was stolen out of northern Kentucky yesterday. You can see we have two uniformed cars there. Prior to those uniformed cars arriving, we had two undercover cars that pulled into that dead end, saw the vehicle. They backed out. They saw that there were individuals inside the vehicle, so they backed out and let the uniform cars make the approach, which is the tactically sound decision to do. The cars are positioned the way the officers are trained. We are trained to use our vehicles as cover from any threat. That's what those officers did with the cars at that time.
Chief Thigi then played a short portion of the body camera footage.
This is body-worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bobby.
He's got a gun on your right, on your right.
This is the body camera footage from the officer who actually shot Ryan Hinton.
This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene. This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him. It's just a photo of it here at Criminalistics. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete and the officers said that they heard the metal hit the ground? There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm. This is a second. Sorry, Bobby, can you go back 1 frame, please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. Go ahead. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket, his jacket pocket. And that is the magazine from that second magazine. This is another firearm that was located inside the stolen vehicle. This is a firearm that was also stolen out of northern Kentucky sometime yesterday, early yesterday morning. Approximately, we believe, based on timelines, this was stolen from a vehicle in northern Kentucky, and then they went on to steal the vehicle that's involved in the incident.
I want to tell you about a free app that I've tried. It's called Upside. It gives you cash back on things that you use each day, like gas, groceries, and takeout. You can transfer the cash you get back straight in, an extra 25 cents back on every. All of this information about 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was revealed in a press conference after the police chief and others met with Ryan Hinton's family, including his father, Rodney Hinton Jr.
Keep being lazy about cleaning your
This is a
apartment.
crime of passion.
No, seriously. Oh my God.
See, I didn't know at the time when I did the video that right after he seen that video, he ran over this officer. I don't even think he did it on purpose. I think, his mind was in the wind and he just was cruising. Next thing you know, he was speeding. Next thing you know, he hit the officer. This is just a terrible tragedy.
We met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office.
You ain't never been in deep thought, and next thing you know, you're going 100 miles an hour. It happens. You just thinking. You ain't really paying attention to the road. Yeah, tunnel vision, and he just ran into the officer. It's just a mistake. Tragic one. Man lost his life about it, but I think it's just an honest mistake. You can't prove he did that intentionally. Well, they say he stopped. They did say that. That might just been his time, probably broke down crying, hit the gas by mistake. It's a number of ways how this could have happened, y'all. And it ain't have to be intentional.
And a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting.
Rodney Hinton left the meeting with the police chief,
Maybe
and
that work
sometime
all night,
after
went to
that
sleep driving.
is when police say he intentionally drove his vehicle into Deputy Larry Henderson. A probable cause affidavit states a Hamilton County Sheriff's Office deputy was standing on the sidewalk at the corner of the intersection outside of the lanes of travel where he was engaged in traffic control.
So you
The
weren't even paying
deputy was
attention.
wearing a uniform and a fluorescent traffic vest. Based on witness statements and evidence at the scene, the defendant drove across oncoming lanes of traffic through the intersection and
See?
directly at the deputy, who was struck by the vehicle, causing injuries to the
He went to
deputy.
sleep at the wheel.
That
Tried to sleep.
intersection near the University of Cincinnati's campus has flowers and blue ribbons decorated in memory and in honor of Larry Henderson, a man who was simply working a detail directing traffic for the University of Cincinnati's graduation. He worked at a different agency, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, than the police officer who shot Ryan Hinton. Larry Henderson had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Ryan Hinton. On Monday, Ryan Hinton's family stood with their lawyers, distancing themselves from what Ryan's father is accused of doing, intentionally murdering Deputy Henderson.
We're here because we represent the estate of Ryan. We're not here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We do offer our condolences to the officer and his family, but we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan. This family is very upset about what occurred. We believe that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry. So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to analyze frame by frame each one of these videos to determine why the officer made that deadly decision to shoot and kill Ryan.
Ryan Hinton's grandfather, the father of Rodney Hinton, also spoke.
I want to give a condolence out to the officers that got hurt, got killed, my whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. If I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I see my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate.
Yeah, yo. If and that's the thing, Prada. If they'd have told the truth about the shooting, he might wouldn't have reacted like that. But they lied. They said that boy pointed the gun at them officers. He didn't. They might show the video on here. He didn't point no gun at him. No, they ain't even gonna show the video. Yeah, they got the video copyright written, so you can't even watch the bitch. Like.
That happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. That had nothing against nobody. You know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent him. So with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to me.
Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court over the weekend following his arrest on an aggravated murder charge. A wall of Larry Henderson's colleagues surrounded him. Hinton muttered something about being gone forever. Hinton was moved to a jail in a neighboring county. He was back in court asking for bail, and things got heated in the gallery when his brother attempted to contact him by knocking on the courtroom glass.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down.
Yo, what the fuck? Look at him, yo. This. Look at this, yo. This is people was tired of that, man. Yo, why did they jump up like this? Because he knocked on the glass, y'all. The man knocked on the glass. They jumped up ready, engaged in a motherfucking fight. What, they want to kill him next? Yo, I'm not saying what he did is right, yo, but I understand it completely. Yo, people is tired of the police brutality, man. Not saying that Shorty was right in what he did and having a fire. Not saying none of that. I'm just saying you factor that in with the history, and it creates this type of situation. Like this situation, more than like it's bigger than just the situation with his son. He probably endured police mistreatment in his own fucking life. You know, we all have seen it or dealt with it at one point in time in life. You feel me? This just was a compilation of all of that. It was a buildup. And then they killed the son, and it was just like, I'm about sick of these motherfuckers, man. I'm sick of them. And he did what he did. You know? He was driving to Texas, or he worked long hours the night before, and he just drove. Next thing you know, he hit the officer. Really, that's what happened. In my opinion. Yo, for one, why the fuck they ain't at work? Like, how's all these? How did they get off at the same time? Like, it might be 2 police in the precinct. Why they all at the courthouse? Crime is going crazy. It got to be, because there ain't nobody in the office.
Rodney Hinton was rushed out of the courtroom as his brother was escorted out of the gallery.
That's what they're trying to do. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to be intimidated.
Shortly thereafter, court resumed, with Hinton's lawyer asking for bail for him and entering a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Judge, I'm going to waive probable cause as a result of being acquainted with the case. I'm waiving probable cause.
Thank you so much. And
He won't be a motherfucking mortar in the joint. I'm trying to tell you.
Plea of not guilty.
He said when he get in the joint, motherfuckers gonna be high fiving him and all types of shit.
As to bond, the state has requested a hearing on the issue of bond or bail. You may be aware of that.
I am aware of that.
Who would like to proceed?
I'm proceeding, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, a detective testified about what happened that day.
Tell me what he did after he stopped.
So based on witness statements as well as the video, the vehicle accelerated quickly.
Look, he went to sleep.
Proceeded eastbound, crossed into
he went to sleep at the wheel, y'all. He went to sleep at the wheel. He stopped, sat for a minute, probably, got to thinking, dozed off, feet hit the gas, and, see what happened.
Oncoming lanes of traffic when there was no longer traffic to obstruct his travel. Crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic, went to the left of those little stanchions that are in the middle of the roadway, into the oncoming lanes, through the intersection, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid
he definitely getting
Deputy Henderson.
And is that the conclusion that our accident reconstructionists have come to at this point?
At this time, yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
Sleep.
And did any
he got narcolepsy.
And the people
He
that
sleep
were
now.
in the vehicles that were...
He I figured it out, y'all. He narcoleptic. Look, he damn near asleep now in court. With the stress that he was enduring, he just having to doze off for a minute, man. Look, see, he just was asleep. Look, you right back 1 second. Look, He narcoleptic. I'm trying to tell you. The man goes to sleep at wild times, man. He went to sleep driving, y'all.
At this
Case
time,
closed.
yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
And did any of the multiple witnesses that you spoke to and the people that were in the vehicles that were surrounding him, the people that were on scene, did anyone indicate that any attempt to slow down or deviate his path straight to Deputy Henderson?
He fell asleep, man.
No, everybody said that he accelerated and was traveling at a high rate of speed all the way up until
Look, he
the
went to
time
sleep
that
again.
he struck
Told you.
Deputy Henderson.
Okay. And when he struck Deputy
He was there
Henderson,
earlier.
when he struck Deputy Henderson, was the deputy injured?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after he struck Deputy Henderson?
Deputy Henderson was launched several feet through the air. He came to rest in a turn lane several
What's up,
feet
Jay?
from where the collision occurred.
Rodney Hitton's defense attorney then questioned the detective.
Just first of all, I would like to offer on behalf of the Hinton family and myself, prayers to the Hinton family, prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to ask you a few questions, not a lot. Okay? You said that Mr. Hinton left the police station around 12:30. CIS.
He initially left around 10:30.
Came back and then left again.
And then returned a couple hours later, yes.
And you said that individuals that know Mr. Hinton, his family members, were saying that he appeared to be agitated, upset, and so forth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't know the source of
Man
that,
went to sleep, man. Fuck
that
that.
agitation.
You can't,
or
you
that
can't tell me
distraught.
nothing different, man. The man went to sleep. He went to sleep. He was confused. Look, he left the precinct at 10, came back at 12. He was delusional. He was tired, and he went to sleep at the wheel, man. Look, he's sleep again now. He can't stay woke. The man can't stay woke, y'all. Probably on meds, man.
Let's do you.
I'm joking, man.
I don't think you do, but we have to answer the question.
The source of the agitation.
I know what the fuck
Yes.
you did, man. He did that shit
I
on
would assume
purpose.
it was
But
because of the, I believe
I
it was
think he was
because of
asleep.
the video and the reason that he was at CIS.
Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
No, I do not know detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions? Do you know that?
Told
You
you.
don't, do you?
No, I do not.
After bond was denied, the
this is-
sheriff gave a brief statement.
He was a 33-year career deputy for our department. He retired approximately 5 months ago,
Dang.
and
that's
he
fucked up.
continued to serve under oath, and he was directing traffic that day at what would have been a very, very joyous occasion for the University of Cincinnati graduates. Unfortunately, you know what unfolded, and we have lost Larry. Larry has been a deputy who has been so extraordinary. We've retired his badge number. Badge number 129 will be retired. Larry touched so many lives in this
Dang, they was retiring
organization
badge numbers.
because he
Never
was
knew
a
that.
trainer, because he
Look,
worked
he
in so
got
many
his jersey in the
specialized
Raptors,
units.
man.
And Larry was very animate about the fact that he stay on the front line. He did not wish to take
probably
exams
was a dirty
to
cop.
be promoted because Larry's service was on that front line. And I have to tell you, that is bravery extraordinaire. When deputies decide
know that should
that
be a
they
bitch
want to be
show,
out
man.
there
You ain't lying.
facing every day to day, that's a
I told y'all earlier.
that's a sacrifice. and
If
it's
I
a
got
sacrifice
if I got a bad review and you ain't gonna give me that shit, yo, you can send me that shit in writing. Like, yo, don't bring me to court just to done. Yo, I bust my knuckle on the cell because of that shit, man. I was mad as a bitch. You bring me in court just to deny me. Like, yo, you could have sent me an email or something. Like, I'd have been cool with that. Like, I ain't don't have me waking up 4:00 in the morning and shit, getting ready to sit in a paddy wagon and drive who knows how long, to sit for another 5 hours. Man, just deny me there. Like, send me a letter. I'm cool.
for his family, and they have made the ultimate sacrifice.
I want to bring in Ken Kober. He is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, Ken, this is a shocking turn of events. We have a young man who was in an officer-involved shooting. He was killed by a Cincinnati police officer on a Thursday, and then the next day, police say that his father, and it sounds like intentionally, mows down a Hamilton County sheriff's deputy who's directing traffic at a college graduation. So it's a pretty shocking turn of events.
It's been a terrible Thursday was a tragedy. Then an officer had to defend his own life, and then on Friday to have a sheriff's deputy murdered simply directing traffic for a graduation is it's unthinkable.
Yeah,
I know you put out a pretty strong statement after Larry Henderson passed away from being hit by this vehicle, and you were calling for the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case. So it sounds like you believe that this was no accident. You believe that this was intentional. Tell me what you know about this that leads you to believe that.
Prove it was
absolutely. You know, our traffic unit and our homicide unit work together. And through the course of their investigation, they determined that this absolutely was an intentional act. And yes, I am absolutely standing with, I think, every other law enforcement officer in this county that expects the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case.
So they trying to get this
the lawyer for Ryan Hinton.
Yo, that they're going to end up losing this case doing that. No, because you can't prove intent. You can't prove he did this on intentionally, right? Like, you already see what the defense is saying. Do you know if he got any medical any medical what they call that shit?
It's a state for the son.
Conditions. I mean, he's narcoleptic, y'all. It's gonna come out in court.
Said that the father, Rodney Hinton, had been in a meeting with Cincinnati police. And for people who maybe aren't aware of this, there's a long-standing collaborative agreement in the city of Cincinnati where, you know, there was a history many, many moons ago, years ago, of some police-involved shootings involving young African-American men. The federal government came in.
Trump can only deal with federal cases. That's what I was trying to tell people when he was saying Trump can only deal with federal. He can't do nothing statewide.
There's this agreement where now Cincinnati police, within 24 hours, if there's an officer-involved shooting, they say, this is what we know. They try to be very open with the public and present what they can about the investigation. And before that happened, apparently, they were having a meeting with the family of Ryan Hinton and showing them this body camera footage of what happened. And the family of Ryan Hinton, or the lawyers for Ryan Hinton, said the father left that meeting very angry. And apparently after this meeting is when Mr. Henderson, the deputy, Larry Henderson, was run down by Rodney Hinton. So do you know anything more about what may have happened in that meeting or any of the details about that?
You know, the police department does a fantastic job being transparent and getting this information out as soon as they can when a critical incident occurs. And that also includes meeting with the family. The chief goes over with them, you know, if there's body camera footage of what occurred.
Hey, Jay, that's a good one. That's a good one. He was driving and the wasp got in the car. He was trying to swat the bitch, start swerving and shit when it crossed the lines. Like, it's a number of reasons how this could have happened, y'all. And it didn't have to be intentional. I could think of 7 different reasons why this happened.
And that the father was upset. There's absolutely no excuse to go and murder a police officer who had nothing to do with this, to murder anybody. Like I said, I understand emotions were running high. My understanding that there was some kind of confrontation that occurred there. I wasn't there for it. And then apparently at some point he stormed off. And then, of course, that led to just more tragic events.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about the investigation? What has been revealed through that traffic investigation? You said the traffic unit. What's come of that? I mean, were there some statements made by Rodney Hinton where did he say something about, I did this on purpose, or, an eye for an eye? I mean, what happened?
I'm not going to get into too much of the investigation and what they have, evidence they have, but I can tell you all the evidence pointed towards this absolutely was an intentional act. And then that was, in my opinion, only
He's not even saying allegedly.
further proven when at his arraignment Saturday morning, showing absolutely zero remorse whatever for what happened.
Tell me, Ken, if you would, how much of an impact, how difficult has this been for the law enforcement community there in Cincinnati, Ohio, having a deputy? I mean, this was a retired deputy working a traffic detail at a college graduation who's just, and he retired in December, is my understanding.
What they dig into his motherfucking arrest record? I mean, that's how they be doing to black people when they die. They go into their criminal. Once they dig into his arrest record and see how many times he had to been disciplined, or if he ever had to been disciplined for anything, like do a real thorough investigation like they normally do. You know, let's look into him. Let's look into the officer, man. What he was involved in, man.
Working, and he's just working the traffic, thing, and he's run down. I mean, what has this been like for the police officers there in the Cincinnati area?
Quite honestly, it's terrible.
They may be on some bullshit,
it's
though.
Infuriating. It's sad.
He's ain't gonna be able to get no money for
that. The deputy who's there directing traffic, running a light for an occasion which should be a fantastic occasion. You got a bunch of University of Cincinnati students that are graduating. Should be a time to celebrate. Instead, it's nothing but a time of tragedy. From the first officer that responded, that had to try to administer CPR, to the deputies that all are on scene, to our traffic unit or homicide unit, everybody that's been involved with this. It's just an absolute, just seeing the evil that society has is something that has been very hard to deal with. And of course, we had the flying pig this weekend. Officers had to go right back to putting a uniform on as they're trying to process what occurred, to go in and protect the public, because that's what we're sworn to do. It's something that it's certainly going to be very, very difficult to get us through this process.
I don't.
And it's my understanding, too, that Larry Henderson, I mean, this is somebody who had a wife. And I was reading last night, too, that I believe he was fostering some very young children.
Honorable man.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute fantastic person. Had a fantastic career in the sheriff's department, and then retired and decided that still wanted to be involved. So he became a special deputy that, their primary function is to, work off-duty details where, on-duty people aren't available. Just to make some extra money in retirement, to be able to take care of his family further, the kids that he has. And it's just something that is absolutely senseless that never should have happened.
Do you expect that the prosecutor, I know you can't speak for the prosecutor, but do you expect
that's a strong word,
that they will? I mean, do you believe that Connie Pillich, the newly elected Hamilton County prosecutor, will seek the death penalty in this case?
Well, the statement that she's made already is that she is going to throw the full force of the law to this defendant. And under the full force of the law would mean that she's going to pursue the death penalty. She certainly hasn't made any statement saying that yet, but that is something that myself and every other police officer in this tri-state area expect that is going to happen.
Ken, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it is important to note that through this tragedy, though, the outpouring of support from the community, as you saw, the officers working the Flying Pig, the Reds were in town this weekend, has been incredible. I know there's been a lot of keyboard warriors that have had threats towards the police and things like that on social media. But, when you see people face to face, the good people in this community, the elected leaders that have reached out to give condolences, is something that, at least there's been at least something good that has come out of this. But we fully expect that he will be prosecuted. And like I said, I will be doing everything in my power to make sure that the death penalty is pursued.
Damn.
And I know that you had told me before we started that you knew Larry Henderson just a little bit. You didn't know him well, but you did know him a little bit.
Just see him in passing. It's kind of hard when you work in Cincinnati, especially when we work with the sheriff's department and somebody that was involved in as many things as he was. It's kind of hard not to cross paths with a lot of the sheriff's department. A fantastic group of guys. And, as I was talking to some deputies last night that knew him very, very well, that were really good friends with him. I mean, just the stories that they're telling, it just speaks volumes of the character of him and how well loved he was and how much he's really going to be missed.
And it's just a tragedy. It's just awful. Well, Ken Kober, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Someone had started a GoFundMe to raise money for Rodney Hinton's defense. That GoFundMe has been taken down, and GoFundMe has actually issued an apology to the Fraternal Order of Police over that fundraiser. And that's...
Man, he ain't doing it on purpose. I'm not convinced.
We've got passion, we've got determination.
I'm not convinced that was intentional. I need more evidence. Let me show y'all the video. I'm just gonna slow it up. Hopefully they don't copyright the whole video, but if they do, fuck it. You ain't gotta make money off everything. You know? Some situations, some stories is bigger than money. Also admitted that we did this song. She said we, y'all. So if we riding together, we die together. I mean, that's how it used to be, right? You ride with him, you die with him. And just a video that they took out of my video. I'm gonna slow it down so they don't copyright it. Let me show you the video. This must not be the video. No, that's not it. Here you go, right here. This the one they copyrighted. Man, leading lady, man, I appreciate it. No, I mean, I think you're gonna beat the biggest counts. All right, so this is the video right here.
And do an officer.
Let me see show it. All right, here go the video, y'all. See Shorty running. Yo, he is not aiming no gun at no police officer. And then it shows the time when he drops, when he falls.
Decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips,
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpster.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
Yo, this is not. Hold up, y'all.
The officer who did discharge his firearm.
Suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm.
Armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm.
Stop the bitch. Yo. They say he pointed the gun at the officer. Dude, this look like he pointed the gun at the officer. He might have looked at the officer. But he ain't got it. This boy is running, man. Yo, let me tell y'all something, y'all. Ain't nobody trying to shoot out with no motherfucking police. That is a suicide mission. I don't think at 18 years old he wanted to commit suicide, y'all. You're not gonna win that gun battle. Yeah. You're not gonna win a gun battle with you and a gang of police. Yo, they've been running that shit in the whole before body cameras. You'd have thought once body cameras came out that they wouldn't be able to use that excuse no more, but they still use it. But I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Yo, most people ain't shooting it out with no police. Motherfucker trying to get away. Ain't nobody got time to be stopping and now we gonna bang it out. Yo, only time people do that is if you're on a fucking source. I ain't gonna say the only time. 89% of the time when people do that, yo, you was on a suicide mission. You ain't trying to go to jail. You willing to die right here, right now. And you're going to take them with you. But those are rare circumstances. But they've been running that shit in the hole since before body cameras. And it's like, with body cameras, you thought it would have changed. And it didn't. They still running with the same narrative. Ain't nobody trying to shoot out them people, man. Unless you trying to die. You ain't going to win. They come 40, they come 30 deep. You got one firearm. You're not going to win.
Suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer.
But it's not.
And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice, given medical care right away, and died. The EG says this is the gun the suspect had. A semi-automatic with an extended magazine, with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic.
Police also told us that a stolen gun was found inside that stolen Kia at this time.
I don't think the cops did it on purpose. I need more proof. I need more proof that the father did that intentionally. Where Dionne Warwick at? They need to get Dionne Warwick on the case, man. Yeah, but then you got Officer Wack. Yo, Sleep the Scandalous in Los Angeles. This is one of the funniest channels on YouTube. Like, I be tripping off of yo. Whoever run this bitch. No, he wasn't aiming. He was running. Man, little boy wasn't trying to shoot no fucking police officer, man. He was trying to get away. He was scared to go to jail. Fuck you gonna stop and turn around and shoot it out with him for? Oh, man. Lying ass police. That's what made the
Welcome back to Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. CS2 Back's online federal assault on Big U has completely destroyed whatever credibility he may have once had. But today, one of the many lies that were told and amplified at the No Jumper podcast is finally being laid to rest. Porky is letting the world know the Big U sending loose cannon, a cease and desist order, was all a lie. This video is going to show you just how far these sorry bastards will go to tear down someone's character.
And I still don't know what happened. I'm still confused about when they were sitting right here. Right. Because the shit brick would say to him, and the shit
that's
he would say to him.
That's how you gotta greet Wack when you see him. Off the rip, as soon as he come in the clubhouse, don't do it, everybody. Don't do it, Eugene. Yo, that nigga be pissed, yo. He'll get off that, but never come back. Anytime you see him, yo, if you on Clubhouse, if you ever come into your room, that's the first thing you say. Don't do it, Eugene. Draws. Don't do it, Draws. Eugene Henley. Yeah, that nigga crazy, yo.
Him and the shit he would tell me about what he was, that was very confusing. It was like,
so Luce was telling you stuff off camera, and then once you saw them face to face, you didn't have the same energy.
It was, but you know, me knowing what I know now, I see the play.
Damn, for real?
Right? The infiltration game was going on.
What do you mean?
Let me get cool with Brick. Getting Flacco's ear make Flacco think some other shit's going on with Wack.
Because he had told Flacco that you wanted to kill him.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Right.
You know, I'm coming to you. I'm like, bro, what's up with Flacco?
Yeah.
You looking
I
at
didn't know either until after it was all exposed.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, wait, when he said, yo, Wack, man, Luke, I said, he told you what? So I'm like, why would Luke tell? Like, and I sat back and like, okay,
yo,
this nigga is trying. Because the shit he was saying about that.
Yo, this nigga has been trying to distance himself from loose cannon. It's not working, Wack. We're not letting you do it. Like, I don't give a fuck how many times you go on no jumper. Yo, we is not allowing you to distance yourself from loose cannon. You niggas is conjoined twins. I mean, y'all one and the same. Y'all was in it together. You tricked them off the streets because you wanted to trick Big U off the streets. But y'all worked together to send Big U to prison. It so happened loose cannon is stupid. Loose cannon thought Wack had his best interests at heart. But Wack only gives a fuck about himself. Not let you spin the narrative, Eugene. But niggas scared of Eugene.
Vice versa. And then it was like,
if Eugene was the walking no jumper right now, your Wack would start stuttering and shit. That nigga probably start stuttering, bald head, start sweating and shit. And try to hide under the table like he did at the Nova show.
Like he was in the building trying to make everything work in his favor. What backfired on him, let me tell you what backfired on him.
What backfired, what?
Is when he found out that Wack is a wolf.
You're a wolf? Or a sheep? What kind of wolf?
When he found out I was a wolf, you know what happens? If you got a wolf and some sheep.
To protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf. And it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. You understand?
If that one sheep crosses the road, you know what the rest of the sheep gonna do?
Follow his ass.
You know what that wolf gonna do? He gonna sit there and he gonna maintain his position. He found out I was a wolf out here. When they started doing what they started doing, and Wack took 2 steps back, because I believe all of that was a plot twist to phase me out.
Knowing that he's now facing these charges, it does feel like that was like such a bad strategic play.
Bro, listen. Why tell Flacco that? Flacco's part of this.
He should have been thankful for his relationship with you. He's already the enemy of so many people. He should have been holding on to that.
This was crazy. He can say what he want. They can say what they want. Without Wack, sitting that man on the side of me and moving him around and going to do podcasts that I would never have done just to put the light on him.
A CS2 back just admitted that without him, the world would have never even heard of Loose Cannon. And that all the lies, slander, and fabricated stories Loose told were only presented to the public because of him.
Hater world.
I would have never done that shit. I would have never. That shit was like 2.5 hours out.
Right.
I only went for him. I didn't go for me.
Did you make academics think that he was going to be interviewing you and Luce together?
Yes, that's the only way he would agree.
You did that on purpose?
I made Luce them get on the plane, and then, I'm like, bro, just go ahead and make it happen. Because the only way because if he'd have told me no on this side, I couldn't sit him.
A little switcheroo.
But what it is, I'm doing what I got to do to try to build him. And I ain't going to lie. It was a genuine,
Nigga, all you do is
it was a genuine, sincere part of me that, like, I'm going to help him. It was a genuine, sincere part of me that, like, I'm going to help him.
If they gave Porky $1 for every lie that he's told sitting in front of his master, Aryan Adam, he'd be rich again. He's sitting in front of Adam, acting like him helping Luce was just a genuine move that he did out of the kindness of his heart. Porky said that to Adam today, but he said something completely different yesterday on Clubhouse.
He always do that.
Law 15, crush your enemy, totally. Law 37.
Notice that Porky read Law 15 and completely went away from Law 16.
Law 15, crush your enemy, totally. Law 37, he fell for the spectacles in form of a clubhouse stage and a podcast microphone. Did he forget what he said about me back in 2021, 2022? Because I sure didn't.
So it's like, Wack, it's like you do all this internet thugging and acting like you just so turned up, putting it on Paru this, Paru that. Nobody's seen you do nothing.
Hashtag bozo. Hashtag trainers over baby daddies. The virtue of patience will always conquer the eagerness of an imbecile.
No, remember when I told y'all the feds?
Oh, dish soap is on
The
sale.
feds link whack with loose candy. Listening to them wiretaps. Like, he want fame, Wack. Get his ass. He want fame. We tell by the wiretaps that he fell out with Big U. Here's your chance. Flip him. I mean, trick his ass off the streets. That's basically what Wack just said. We gotta listen to it again.
Will always conquer the.
Like you just so turned up, putting it on Paru this, Paru that. Nobody's seen you do nothing.
Hashtag bozo. Hashtag trainers over baby daddies. The virtue of patience will always conquer the eagerness of an imbecile.
You thought they were funny.
I'll let them rock out with that. How you get mad at me for throwing rocks in my house and you mad because I got 3 layers of glass on my windows, and just because the first layer presumed to be cracked and shattered, you had no idea it was 2 more layers behind that and it was never cracked. But yet I come out and shake your hand and say, hey, we're going to let bygones be bygones. And for some reason, you bring me to your real house, and then you wake up one day and the whole house.
Nigga dirty, bro.
You mad at me?
Some dirty motherfucker there,
yo. My windows, my nigga. You never even fixed my windows and repaired them. Oh, I'm lying. I did get a few dollars out of you. You ain't get that out of me. But some spectacles. Let you on the clubhouse floor and let you sit in front of a podcast microphone and let you cut your own throat. And let you cut your own throat. And let you cut your own.
Remember I said that shit day one when the indictment first came down. Like, he used them. Loose Cannon wanted clout. Wack wanted Big U in prison. Loose Cannon just wanted clout. And he used them and knocked Loose Cannon off and sent Big U to prison. Diabolical motherfucker, man.
Bro, I thought Porky said he genuinely wanted to help Luce. But now we're finding out he's been holding a grudge this whole time. Ever since Lucy dropped that diss track back in 2021. The one that Porky said was a play. The one he said him and Luce tricked the streets with.
I didn't do it. You did it. I just detected your eagerness for attention. And I played on it. Okay. I may have exploited. I may have assisted you in exploiting yourself. But I didn't give you a script. Hey, I just kind of rolled the dice and I hit my number. You can't be mad at me about your plot and you counter-plotting yourself through your own actions. You cannot be mad at me for knowing how to get all the colors together on the Rubik's Cube. Some of you youngsters may not know what I'm talking about. Some people in there may know what I'm talking about. Don't get mad at me because I can make all the yellows, reds, greens. Don't get mad at me. Well, Wack, why didn't you tell me you were still upset? Because I'm not an emotional guy. I'm not supposed to tell you that. Well, Wack, why didn't you tell me you were still upset? Because I'm not an emotional guy. I'm not supposed to tell you that.
According to Porky, he's been mad at Luce ever since that diss track dropped. The same diss track Porky admits he told him to make. Sounds like the setup was built in from the start.
That is the fuel. You doing what you saying was the action. Me being upset about what you saying was the fuel. I don't show that. I just simply let it burn in a way that I do something about it. On some real shit, right? But I think the whole time, and especially after listening to Gigi, right? I think the whole time, because she said, Wack, I used to lay on the side of him when him and the fake manager dude, she said his name, came up with the idea, attack Wack to try to get some attention on you, and you wouldn't pay him no attention.
Hence the diss track that he made.
Adam 22 is asking about the diss record, because Adam remembers Porky telling him that he told Luce to do it. Adam didn't believe the story when Porky said it, but Porky insisted that he told Luce to do it.
Out. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're riding out for your homie.
Loose cannon?
You guys are doing a little bit of shady business together.
Not shady. Might be, me and Loose Cannon been comrades for quite some time. We fooled the streets.
What about those
Did you hear Loose Cannon diss song on me?
Yeah, and I feel like you're lying when you say that it was all premeditated and planned out.
It was. He told me that's what he wanted to do. I told him do it. He told me that's what he wanted to do. I told him do it. He told me that's what he wanted to do. I told him do it. And she said it would drive him crazy. She said, so when I looked up and saw him on the side of you, I said, oh my God, he found a way to get to him, right? But what was crazy is he got to me the right way. But
link up with you against a mutual op.
No, that wasn't my thing at all. See, when he called me, I asked him. I said, "You with Big U?" And he said, "Nah, I did, but I don't know more." So I asked him what happened. Cool. Why? Because if you with Big U, like if Big U knows somebody with me, he ain't finna let him in his space like that, right? Because you don't know what that is. Right? Nigga might be a suicide bomber, detonate you and him. You never know what that is,
You're
right?
a suicide bomber.
So when he propositioned me to help him promote his show, I'm promoting his show. I had no idea about some of the shit he was gonna say. And as I'm listening
nobody
to him,
believes
I don't
that,
know if he running his play.
What's up, brother?
Right? I don't know if he's running his play. I don't know what he's doing.
Porky is sitting here lying, as always. He wasn't just some bystander. Porky was Lucy's handler. He knew exactly what Lucy was going to say. He even admitted that the information was too hot for him to present. So he brought Lucy to No Jumper to say it himself. But now, Porky's acting like he had no idea what Lucy was going to say on that platform.
When your family's going every which way,
Yo, this is dirty. Wack he gonna get his karma for this though, man. He think this shit funny.
Exceedingly unlikely that Big U actually placed this phone call about Nipsey right before Nipsey died.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I believed him at the time. And today, on my way here, Gigi told me some shit that changed that. Okay. Cease and desist come to you. Right? At the same time, he tells me Urban Flicks gets a cease and desist.
Porky lies so much it's almost routine at this point. He's sitting there lying to Adam again. And Adam's just letting it happen. Porky told Adam that he received a cease and desist from Big U at the same time Lucy did. That's a lie. And both of them know it. The truth is, Lucy was supposed to release his Urban Flicks video on February 14th. But on February 2nd, he suddenly popped up with a fake cease and desist, conveniently stopping him from showing the world the clip of Big U allegedly predicting Nipsey's death. Adam, on the other hand, didn't receive a cease and desist until nearly a month later. This is just Porky doing what he always does.
Lie.
Trying to cover up one lie with another.
So I'm like, okay, cease and desist go to Adam to pull him down, talking about it. Then Urban Flicks gets one so they won't put it in the thing, right? So when I tell Gigi this, because Gigi said, well, why did you believe it? And I told her this, right? And she said, no, Wack, Urban Flicks did get a cease and desist. But it was from me, not Big U. Oh. So they got a cease and desist. He just tell me it's from the Big U. So my ideology is like, if Adam got one to pull that down and Urban Flicks got one to not to play it, it must exist. It must be there. So I said, well, Gigi, what kind of cease and desist did you serve Urban Flicks? She said all the footage with Black China, all the footage that was shot in our home in Riverside or wherever they live, right? I called the cameraman.
Yeah, but
the cameraman said Loose Cannon never paid him. So I, in fact, paid the cameraman and brought all the footage. I then serviced Urban Flicks and said, if any of this footage
Cannon was an easy target, yo, because Loose Cannon is borderline slow. That's why it was so easy for Wack to do what he did with Loose Cannon, because he already slow. And you want clout? Shit, I got you. I can use you to take down Big U. And take you down in the process. And then act like we was never friends. See, this is a new era of something like Friends. You know, Wack was something like a friend of Loose Cannon. Same as Adam. Like all these guys, yo, are something like friends to somebody. Like you can take that how you want. That can mean anything. Like I said, it can mean they enemies. You know, something like a friend could be an enemy as well. You gotta remember that. And that's what we got going on, yo. All these niggas is on bullshit. Can't trust them.
I'm gonna sue you. I own it. So yeah, it was a cease and desist there, but the whole time I'm thinking Big U served Urban Flicks to cease and desist. See what you getting one and them getting one. See what you getting one and them getting one.
Porky keeps trying to push this false narrative that Adam 22 received a cease and desist either before or at the same time as Lucy. But he's lying, plain and simple. The truth is, Lucy pulled out that fake cease and desist on February 2nd, 12 days before he was supposed to drop the Urban Flicks video on February 14th.
That's the video
Adam
of the car
didn't get his cease and desist until nearly a month later. Porky knows this, but he's trying to rewrite the timeline to cover up yet another one of his lies.
See what you getting one and them getting one. I'm like, okay, he don't want Loose talking about it, and he don't want them putting it up. But come to find out, the cease and desist that went to Urban Flicks was from Gigi. Had nothing to do with Big U. Had nothing to do with Big U. Had nothing to do with Big U.
So Porky just admitted to everyone that Loose Cannon was lying about the cease and desist he claimed Big U sent him. But here's the real question. If it was Gigi who actually sent the cease and desist, then where did Porky get the one he read out loud on Clubhouse?
You gonna pay for this shit,
The
man.
one he claimed.
You think it's all fun and games now, yo, but yo, no matter how you view Big U or whatever, yo, that shit he did was diabolical, man. Like, yo, to play them guys like that, yo, in order to get Big U out the streets, yo, it don't get no dirtier than that. Especially when you consider, like I always say, Big U just wanted to break his jaw. Like, you did all that shit running for a fight. Yo, they didn't even have real beef. Yo, they was beefing over contracts and business. Like, this wasn't no street shit. He ain't really do no harm to yo like that. This is over business, yo. You tricked that man off the streets, put all these cases on yo over business. God damn. The fuck that man shit. That niggas crazy.
Think about that as you get ready to hear the audio in just a minute.
So Big U cease and desist that he served you was really in the right lane because he's saying it's a lie. If he's saying it's a lie, then it's defamation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Big U cease and desist that he served you was really in the right lane because he's saying it's a lie. If he's saying it's a lie, then it's defamation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like that, Porky finally admits that Big U never sent Loose Cannon a cease and desist. Now he's backpedaling, claiming Big U was actually in the right for sending one to Adam and No Jumper, because according to him, Lucy's statements during that interview were slanderous, defamatory lies. Mind you, this is the same interview where Porky was sitting right next to Lucy, co-signing everything he said. Now he's pretending he had no idea what was coming and trying to wash his hands of it.
So Big U cease and desist that he served you was really in the right lane because he's saying it's a lie. If he's saying it's a lie, then it's defamation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Wack one of them niggas that Wack one of them niggas that think he's smart, but he the only one believes it. Like, yo, nobody else, like, yo, nobody's fooled with this shit. Yo, like, just accept the fact that we all know you're a federal informant. Just accept the shit, bro. We know now. Like, it ain't no getting away from it. We know, bro.
This shit today, I'm like, oh shit. She said, yeah, Wack. I said, yeah, I thought he said, no, that's what he told y'all because it fit.
This moment right here proves what many of us already knew. Porky has no integrity and absolutely zero credibility. So let's rewind the clock and listen to Porky as he defamed, slandered, and outright lied on Big U, supporting Lucy's lie about a cease and desist. So Porky already admitted that Lucy never received a cease and desist from Big U. It actually came from Gigi, according to him. So where did the fake cease and desist that Porky read on Clubhouse come from?
Right. See, that's too bad.
Remember, everything you're going to hear Porky say next was a lie. And he just went in front of Arian Adam and admitted that. This is COINTELPRO at its finest.
Yo, man, so you know how...
Listen to this shit. So he just admitted that Loose Cannon never got a cease and desist. But now he's on Clubhouse years ago reading the so-called cease and desist that Loose Cannon gave him. But listen to what he said the shit is about. Like, yo, this nigga is dirty.
It's Bozo been saying, they all been saying Loose Cannon lying, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, shit. All right.
Oh, we got content.
Please, you
Look at that bitch ass niggas.
Okay, so if Loose Cannon is lying, February 2nd, 2024.
There was no way I could sit on the stage and deal with this. Like, I'd have been like, yo, what the fuck is you doing, bro? Like, fuck you, the police? Like, these niggas are sitting on this stage listening to this bullshit. Listen to what he do though, y'all.
Okay, so if Loose Cannon is lying, February 2nd, 2024, Tremaine Williams, aka Loose Cannon, right? Dear Mr. Williams, the law firm represents Mr. Eugene Henley. We are contacting you regarding your publication and unintended publication of certain audio and or audio.
The law firm. That's how niggas should know he was. Why you ain't naming the law firm? That's how niggas should have known he was lying back then. Yo said the law firm. That's not what that shit gonna read. It's gonna say the name of the law firm.
visual recordings featuring Henley. Collectively, the footage.
Look,
you are hereby directed to cease and desist any and all use of the footage in any manner, including without limit.
Now they talking about the phone call that Loose Cannon supposed to release, where Big U called him 30 minutes before Nipsey died. It never existed. It never existed. But now, he just admitted on No Jumper it never existed. But years ago, he read a fake-ass document saying that Big U wanted to confiscate the fucking phone call. He wanted to stop it from coming out. All lies.
Invitation to use of Henley's voice, image,
For real.
likeness, and reference to his personal or professional business. Collectively, NIL, right? This demand includes posting the footage or the NIL on social media and featuring and foregoing in any film, television, programming, and streaming. Nigga, if it never happened, why the fuck you got your attorney?
Oh shit, I'm reading it. Hold on, I'm reading it. Oh shit.
No, hold on, bro.
Hold on, Todd.
If it never happened, why would you serve if you never said these things? Cease and desist. FaceTime, it never happened. Why do you have your attorney serving Loose Cannon a cease and desist about it? Henley refused to sign a contract to allow you to use the footage. And any program stands firm in refusal. Listen, look, bro. This nigga.
That's crazy.
He just admitted to work. Bro, this is real shit. You would never, and I'm going to say this, because I'm going to use myself. You will never see me serve Mika paperwork saying you can't put out the footage of you putting fingers in my ass. You know why? Because it never happened.
Never happened. Why even?
If you don't exist, nigga, why you serving a nigga?
Right. That's a fact. That's confirmation.
Hey, yo. I know T-Money, you like to talk your
That's
shit.
Confirmation.
You put name, image, and I used to be his brain, bro. That dumb as fuck.
Yeah, that was a bozo.
That's a bozo number 8. That's a bozo number 8.
Nigga getting spanked with facts all year. And let me tell you what's spooky. Hold on, bro. I wasn't gonna do this. This just 2 days ago. Loose Cannon said that nigga don't want to have no conversation with me. Cuz don't want to fuck with me. He won't even get on the phone. Watch this, Wack. Watch this.
You the police, nigga.
Who here got
That's what you do when police call your phone.
Got audio?
When police call your phone, you hang up on them. when you suspect the motherfucker of working, you don't have no conversation with him. You hang up the phone. But they try to play it up like Big U was scared of Loose Cannon. That's why he hung it up. No, nigga, you working, nigga. Ain't nothing to talk about.
Eric in there, Josh.
We got a couple of them in here. Yep.
Is Josh here?
That's Eric. That's Eric Wack.
Eric?
Yeah.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for you, though.
Nah.
Okay, hold on. Oh, you said Eric in here.
Yeah, Eric in here.
Eric started at 1 minute. I don't want to dox. I was giving Cannon his phone number. Started at 1 minute. I was giving Cannon his phone number. I don't want to dox his phone number. He probably can't handle that. Everybody ain't a whack. But this is the other day. I said, yo, you know the nigga calling around with your ex-wife? He said, man, my motherfucking ex-wife, I ain't fuck with that bitch. And you. He said, oh, let me call her right now. He said, now, if one of your homeboys was doing what I was doing to you, you gonna holler at him. I said, for sure. He said, watch this. I picked up. Who was this? And he started telling him, hey, look, check this out. Nigga Loose Cannon. I just hung the phone up quick.
That's
crazy. All right, you ready? Yeah, let's go.
Big U.
Yeah,
this Cannon. Like all those games that you playing, bro, with lying ass Gigi and stuff. Oh, bitch ass, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. What? I'm telling you, no.
You know you working, nigga. I done hung up the phone on his ass too. What the fuck you calling me for? You actively trying to send me to prison online, and you want to have a conversation with me. Man, fuck, man, I'd have boofed on his ass too.
Yo.
Do you see now how the disinformation campaign really works? Porky's clubhouse clergy aren't just a bunch of loud, low-budget cheerleaders. They're tools. Carefully placed pieces in a bigger strategy to echo his lies, amplify his slander, and reinforce the false narratives he wants you to believe.
Y'all
This
think the
isn't
feds
random.
put this together?
It's coordinated. And
Feds
it's
put this
calculated.
together, man.
I heard through the grapevine that there might be a case that you are working on exposing that involves loose cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give me a preliminary briefing on what this is about?
Nah, the main thing is, man, it's like some defamation stuff. You know, I want to speak on it so everything is actually done with. You know, I got some very, very nice paid attorneys handling everything for me. So, you know, but real soon, probably next week, we'll get here something. I just don't want to speak on it yet.
Okay.
That's why I didn't say nothing, because it's his content.
Wack said that he don't want to talk about it either. Okay, well, because I went to your channel, I was looking for the YouTube video about it. I didn't see anything, but a few people know about it.
What video? What video?
No, I went to your channel looking for a video about it because somebody told me that you were working on something, and I didn't see anything, so I assume it's still in the works.
Well, see, what I do is I give out little signals at the end of my videos, so you can't just look at the title or watch the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So people who told you about it, they're either watching my live or watching some of my long videos.
Got it. Okay. Well, that sounds exciting.
I told y'all, the feds infiltrated YouTube and social media early on, man. Y'all think Wack coordinated this by itself? Y'all think Wack sat back and be like, yo, I'm gonna go on Clubhouse and I'm gonna build a team of reporters and I'm gonna let them push my message? Man, fuck no. He sat down with the feds and they thought of that shit. Hook, line, and sinker. You heard me? That was a federal play from the beginning. Federal play from the beginning, man. We heard that the feds study the black community probably better than most black people. They pay attention to shit that we don't pay attention to. We heard that come out of federal informant mouth. Come on, man. So Diddy was in court today. Day 2. Trying to hit Smokey Robinson with some lawsuits. Trying to take down Smokey, y'all, before he perish.
Day 2 of jury selection in one of the most high-profile trials in recent memory. Sean Diddy Combs is facing federal charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, and right now, his team and federal prosecutors are trying to figure out which New Yorkers will serve on a jury to determine his guilt or innocence. Who may be ultimately selected to decide one of the most impactful criminal trials in recent years? We're going to break down the big moments that happened today. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse.
Oh, did I tell y'all? Fuck, ho. Did I tell y'all that the Abercrombie and Fitch dude was named mentally incompetent to stand trial? I'm at the bench show that, man. Salute to Flim Flam. She sent me that. Abercrombie and Fitch CEO can't stand trial.
I got the latest for Abercrombie and Fitch, the former CEO. The first headline from CBS News
Why
is
nobody report
former
this?
Abercrombie and Fitch CEO found unfit to stand trial in New York.
Why ain't nobody report this, man? Why is this not up plastered all over the social media like Diddy case? I'm at the bench show y'all this. Michael Jeffs, the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, is not competent to stand trial on sex trafficking charges in New York. A federal judge ruled Friday. Also directed the Attorney General office to place Jeffs in a hospital for up to 4 months. The court finds by a preponderance of the evidence that the defendant is presently suffering from mental disease or defect rendering him mentally incompetent to the extent that he is unable to understand the nature of consequences of the proceedings against him or to assist properly in his defense. Now, this shit he did was way worse than Diddy. That nigga was preying on straight men. Jeffrey's lawyer filed a letter in federal court last month saying the 80-year-old requires around-the-clock care because of Alzheimer's disease, body dementia, and residual effects from traumatic brain injury. In this letter, the lawyer said at least 4 medical professionals concluded that their client's cognitive issues are progressive and incurable, and that he will not regain his competence and cannot be restored to competency in the future. Why they saying that? Why ain't saying this on Instagram? The defense, as well as prosecutors, requested that Jeffrey be placed in Federal Bureau of Prisons custody so he can be hospitalized and receive treatment that might allow his criminal case to proceed. They gave him a $10 million bond. Remember we read this paperwork. This paperwork was insane. Prosecutors say he and his partner, Matthew Smith, along with a third man, James Jacobson, used the promise of modeling jobs to lure men into drug-filled sex parties in New York City, the Hamptons, and other locations. The 16-count indictment outlines allegations of sex trafficking dating from 2008 to 2015. In the indictment, prosecutors alleged Jeffrey Smith and Jacobson used force, fraud, and coercion to traffic those men for their own sexual gratification. Jacobson allegedly acted as a recruiter and had trials for potential candidates, which typically required the candidate to first engage in commercial sex acts with him. What's alleged in the indictment is not only beyond disturbing, dishonorable, and disgraceful, it's criminal. Yeah, but he can't stand trial. I had to show y'all that. Now you got Diddy or this bitch fighting for his life on the same charges.
Defense and prosecution will use strikes and challenges to get that number down to 12 jurors and 6 alternates. And by the way, in case this is a shocker, this is no easy task for these potential jurors, right? Sitting on one of the most impactful, heavily covered criminal trials in years, currently scheduled for 8 weeks. So we're going to cover what has happened today in the process, who may be selected ultimately for this jury. And this comes as not only Combs has just added another lawyer to his team, while the prosecution objected to another one sitting with him. We're going to talk about that. But this also comes as Combs reportedly said yesterday, he's a little nervous, and that's understandable because why? He's facing 5 federal charges. The disgraced music mogul is accused of running a criminal enterprise that was allegedly focused on his sexual needs and desires, hiring sex workers, procuring drugs and baby oil, setting up hotel rooms for elaborate sex parties called freak-offs, and we expect multiple alleged victims, including Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura, to test.
It's time to take a spin on the new Fanatics Casino app, dropping $2 million in fan cash. So every week, you can play for a chance to win your share of $250,000.
What's up, Mo?
Flip your fan cash into casino credit.
Testify that they felt forced or coerced to participate in these sexual episodes.
Right.
Racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. These are the charges. Potentially life in prison if he's convicted. The stakes couldn't be higher. Now, Combs has been behind bars at the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, since his arrest last fall. He was denied bail multiple times. Sidebar has been closely following this case even before his arrest. Okay, we were covering when he first did with the civil lawsuits, but we covered it every step of the way, like the raids on his...
Did I show y'all Lil Rodney lawsuit got tossed out too? Hey, Real, where the fuck you at, Real? They said O.J. Simpson was selling drugs. 55 keys. And it was linked into a cartel. Y'all saying that? A year after O.J. Simpson's death, new claims have surfaced linking the former NFL star to a Colombian cocaine trafficking ring spanning multiple states. Smith's former manager, Norman Pardo, alleged O.J. was connected to the cartels. According to Pardo, Simpson acted as a middleman. He was a facilitator. He connected buyers with sellers, basically like an agent for the drug market. These claims came to light following the April 2024 arrest of Simpson's longtime friend, Bird Priddy, 52, who was also the brother of Simpson's ex-girlfriend, Kristen Priddy. Although Simpson died of prostate cancer at the age of 66, just 4 days before Priddy's arrest, investigators allegedly questioned Priddy about Simpson's role in the drug operation that reportedly moved up to 55 pounds of cocaine from Colombia through Florida to North Dakota and Minnesota. That's crazy. Look at this nigga. What the fuck is up with these niggas, man?
Most known for his hit single Tipsy, which blended the genres of country music and rock and roll, and have gotten him a whole bunch of success, looks to have fallen into the industry trap. Rory told us that when you reach a certain level of success in that industry, there's a door or two that you must enter in order to exceed to a certain position.
Fuck that on, man.
It's a level of success where it's a door. It's a door. When you platinum and you getting 50,000 a show, I've been there. There's a door that you can walk in. I'm not sure if it's homo or if it's Illuminati. I just didn't take that door. I went straight. There's 3 different doors, right? There's 3 different ways to walk. There's to the left. There's to the right, and then there's straight. Straight is you're on your own. Let's see if you continue this success, young man. Let's see if it's all about your skills.
Bonnie Blanco, that's what it is. It's subscribe if you're new.
To the right, I'm not sure if that's the homo shit right there. And then there's to the left, I'm not sure if there's some sacrifice shit going on right there. I'm not sure because I went straight.
Now, we can't say exactly what's going on, but it does seem like black men in particular must push the agenda of feminism within the culture in order to be considered for anything within that industry. We recently seen it with A$AP Rocky as well, who came out and admitted that he sometimes wear Rihanna clothes while being seen wearing a woman's dress. Now the question becomes, what is it within that industry where most of these guys come into the industry one way, but as soon as they gain a certain level of success, suddenly they change? Playboy Cardi went from showing Dracos in his videos to suddenly dressing in women's clothing, coloring his hair, painting his nails, and even going as far as wearing women's thongs. Do you think something is up, or could it all just be one?
Niggas weirdos. Weirdos. Sellouts. Puppets. How the fuck you want to call them niggas? Well, I was ready to show y'all. I didn't fucking forgot. Y'all see Kanye walk out of Piers Morgan?
I watch
what you put out on X. You got 32 million followers. So you're one of the most followed people.
See, wait. Now look right now. You're not gonna take inches off my dick, bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
I think you could do the study. You got a whole staff over there.
I thought it was 32 million. How many is it? You obviously know.
I mean,
definitely.
No, I mean, don't help them out. You know, they.
I'm told it's 33 million now. So congratulations. You're slightly bigger following than I thought.
Congratulations. That was disrespectful.
No, congratulations. Your information is correct. You're not just some, dude trying to sub. I'm a gift, bro. You know what I mean? Why do all you people in media act like you haven't played my songs at your weddings or graduations or at funerals or when your child was born? You take somebody that's living like a Lennon, a Michael Jackson, and you just take all this time to just like that nuance right there. It's idiotic. It just shows the hate that you put out for people that put love. There's so much love in the art that I put out.
What are you talking about? I haven't said anything.
What are you talking about? It's 30. Okay, now you're not taking accountability or responsibility.
Literally, you said it. You implied I haven't played your music. Of course I played your music.
No, sir. This is what you get for now. We can circle back when you can count.
Okay.
Yo, Kanye be out this bitch tripping, man. I got the fuck out of there. Yeah, but this is what I was ready to show y'all. Remember this? Diddy formerly opposed lawsuit, Cuban Gooding Jr. and Justin Combs dismissed. You gotta tell y'all about them lawsuits, y'all. What did I tell y'all about them lawsuits, man? Nobody's getting paid. Them lawsuits was not designed for people to get paid. Y'all remember when I was telling everybody that? They like, yo, you, what the fuck they call me? They called me all type of wild ass names. But I was right the whole time. I think I'm the only blogger when it came down to Diddy that been right the whole fucking time. I told y'all nobody's getting paid. These lawsuits is for one purpose only. One purpose only. The damage to jury pool. That's it, and that is fucking all. That's all it was. Yo, the lawsuits were so frivolous, they didn't make no sense. It was so outside of the normal. But since people already had this built up perception of who Diddy was, it was believable. But if you use common knowledge about how this shit work and how the media work against black people, you know what it is. Propaganda. Especially when you consider what Diddy case is really about. It ain't about Cassie. You know what we talked about it at length. You know what it's really about. So you bring this slander campaign because you really don't got a case. You don't really have a case for sex trafficking against Diddy. So what you do is you slander him. Run his name all through the mud. Mop the floor with his name. So that way, when trial do come, every single juror is coming in that bitch with the mind frame of guilty. Straight, yeah, Michael. Every juror is coming in there with the mind frame of guilty. So now, instead of him being innocent until proven guilty, he's guilty and he got to prove himself innocent. It makes it that much more harder for him to beat the case. What's up, Brandon? All them lawsuits got tossed. Every lawsuit that was all over social media was tossed. And we talked about it.
Properties in Miami and Los Angeles, his arrest, his indictment, the multiple superseding indictments, and all of the pretrial motions along the way. And we will continue to follow this case for you every step of the way, including when opening statements begin currently scheduled for next week. We're going to cover every second of this. Now, to talk about what happened today, day 2 of jury selection, to talk about today's proceedings, I want to bring in former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani to talk more about this. Nima, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Love having you on to talk about the Sean Combs case. So first of all, the process has been running quite smoothly and efficiently. I mean, do you think they can select a jury this week with opening statements next week? When you told me this, when they told me that jury selection was only going to take a week, I said, no way, it's not going to be able to take a week. But you think it's possible, generally speaking? We'll get into more specifics about what happened today.
Jesse, first of all, love being on, and we're almost there. Next week, I do believe we are going to get a jury selected this week. And I think the reason we are, really there's 2 reasons. One, we're in federal court. We know these federal judges like to move. They're really limited when it comes to what they perceive as for-cause challenges. If some of these potential jurors say, hey, I can be fair and impartial, that's good enough for most judges. And they'll say, you know what, counsel, you got to use your peremptory on them. The other reason I think we're moving quickly is because we're having judge voir dire as opposed to attorney voir dire. Attorneys can ask all sorts of questions because, look, let's be honest, Jesse, there's only one person in that courtroom that wants a fair and impartial jury, and that's Judge Subramanian. The lawyers, they're going to want jurors who are favorable for their case. I mean, that they're advocates. That's just the reality of it. So lawyers tend to be a little bit more
What did you say? What? They don't want fair and impartial? They want jurors on their side? Nima, what are you talking about?
Shut up. Everybody know that, nigga. Shit wasn't breaking news, nigga. They need to let me run Law and Crime Network. I take the motherfucking ratings through the moon. Cause we gonna keep that shit real. We ain't putting on a good show. You know what I mean? We gonna keep that shit real, 100%. Yo, a lot of things that Law and Crime is just coming around to. Yo, we've been saying that shit on day 3, day 2, day 5. Like, yo, they just getting around to the board to what's really going on. But still trying to drag it out until Diddy get found not guilty.
Advocates actually want to win. So, they'll ask questions, as trying to get into their political beliefs. And really, we want to know, if you're prosecuting or defending a sexual assault case, what are your views on sexual assault? Do you believe it can be underreported? Do you believe it can be falsely reported? Is this rape? Is this regret? I mean, we obviously isn't going to get into all that. It's going to kind of stay within the boundaries of really what should be a for-cause challenge. And that's why I think the process is moving a lot faster than it would otherwise go.
So let's get into a little bit later on about preemptory challenges and how that's going to work. But right now, as these jurors were brought in for initial questionnaires last week where they filled out all the paperwork, answered questions, now there's individual questioning, and they can be stricken for cause. There's a legitimate reason they can't sit on the jury, whether it's a very unique particular hardship or they're showing some sort of bias. And I have to tell you, Nima, there was a little bit of trouble today, right? You had one prospective juror today who talked about hearing about the Combs case on CNN, admitted that they leaned in a negative light towards him having committed some crimes. That juror was excluded. You had another juror who admitted on the questionnaire, again, that all these prospective jurors had to fill out, that she was a victim of an attempted rape. Reportedly said the cops could have done a lot more. But this juror wrote on the questionnaire that P. Diddy has money and he could buy his way out. And when asked by the court, well, what did you mean by that? She apparently doubled down and said, just what I wrote. She was excused for cause. Another juror, who has a son that works in the DA's office of Rockland County, New York, conceded they aren't sure if they could be fair and can't promise they wouldn't be biased. Struck for cause. Another juror who admitted they would be biased for law enforcement.
Because this is the thing, y'all. The lawsuits gain more momentum than the actual criminal trial. Yo, the man Busby got on made a whole press conference, y'all, and said he's filed 120 lawsuits. Then you got the other girl, the little black girl, going on multiple platforms lying about how she got tapes with Justin Bieber. Like, yo, that was all calculated. That was all paid for by we know who. All paid for. All paid promotion. Because in reality, they don't got no case. They didn't sex traffic Cassie, man. They were just freaky. He one of the freaky niggas I be talking about. Him, Joe Buttons, DJ Academics, Adam 22, Poetic Flacco, Shannon Sharp. You know, they some freaky ass niggas, man. You feel me? That's all. Ain't the crime being freaky.
Nima, I gotta say, this is what I anticipated would happen. Now, first of all, credit to these prospective jurors for being honest, or purportedly being honest, but I expected we would have a lot of people that would show a sense of bias in this case.
I think that's right, Jesse. First of all, in any case, there are a lot of people that just want to get off jury duty, right? They get that summons in the mail and they don't want to be there, especially for a 2-month trial. That's going to get a lot of press and not just attention here, international attention. Now, you have some stealth jurors that maybe want to get on this panel and write a book about it and go on the talk show circuit after this is all said and done. But most Americans aren't really excited to serve as jurors. So you'll get folks that will say anything to get off the panel. Now we're talking about a celebrity, we're talking about sexual assault, and we know that a lot of people have been victims of sexual assault or sexual abuse. So this may hit close to home. They might not be good jurors on this type of case. And like you said, they may be honest about their experience, not because they want to get off the panel, but because this may be triggering and they may have to relive through trauma that they themselves have experienced or a loved one has experienced because of sexual assault. So those jurors are also getting off. But like you said, this is the type of case that is going to stir up a lot of emotions from a lot of different folks, whether it's race, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's gender and sexual violence, you name it, this case has it.
And look, these are jurors you have to expect to not only know who Sean Combs is, but they're probably been exposed in the last year and a half to material about him. So whether it's the lawsuits, the CNN video, things like that, they've already formed an opinion about it. So aside from the jurors who, by the way, who mentioned or exhibit signs of bias, you also had other jurors who have conflicts or have medical issues that struck them from the jury too. For example, you had one female juror who expressed she has these stomach issues, needs multiple bathroom breaks, struck from the jury. That's not going to work when you have prolonged testimony and maybe not the ability to have multiple bathroom breaks and he's going to be distracted. But we have another juror, actually, to be more specific, that highlights a key issue in this case. The footage from the LA Intercontinental Hotel of Combs purportedly beating up Cassandra Ventura back in 2016. Key piece of evidence in this case. Combs issued an apology on Instagram when a portion of that video was published by CNN last year. This was before his arrest. And again, we believe this is going to be a key piece of evidence for the prosecution to establish that Ventura, who we believe is victim 1 in this case, was trying to escape a freak-off, that there was a sex worker in the hotel room, i.e., this is evidence of sex trafficking. At least that's the argument.
Actors, we can make you believe we know what we're doing, when in fact...
That's evidence of a volatile relationship. A freaky-ass relationship.
By the prosecution. Well, what happened? You got a juror today who reportedly told the court, yeah, they saw the video, and despite this juror saying they could be fair in court, saying that in the court today, on the questionnaire that this juror filled out, apparently the juror wrote they were unsure if they could be fair. But the juror said they would listen to the court's instructions on this. Nonetheless, the juror was excluded. But Nima, this tape, so problematic for jury selection, right?
Not even just
no question, because like you said, typically when you walk into that courtroom, you haven't seen the evidence in the case. But this is not your ordinary case. Everyone has heard about Sean Combs. Everyone has seen that video. It's disturbing.
It's intentional. The video was leaked. I don't even want to hear no more of that shit. The video was leaked. Intentional. Yo, they still trying to investigate who leaked that video. Like, this one of them situations, if they find out that Homeland Security or FBI leaked that video, which they did, case dismissed. This is the biggest piece of evidence they got, and y'all leaked that shit to the public. It was all about damaging the jury pool. It was all about, see, this is why I always talk about ignorance. And why these guys like Charleston White and 607, why I'm against them niggas for pushing ignorance, is because, yo, once you kill a person's image, you can kill them in court. Y'all know I've been saying that shit for a while. If you can kill him in public opinion, you can kill him in court. So when you got these guys like Charleston White saying shit like, "Oh, the black community is evil and they have no compassion for the kid that got stabbed," and like, you justifying the mistreatment of black people. You got 607 saying all that dumbass shit he say, whatever the fuck he say. It justifies the disrespect. It justifies the treatment. You understand? It justifies a lot because you pushing ignorance. You're feeding in the stereotypes. You kill a person's image, you can kill everything else about them. They did it to black man in the 80s. That's what the 80s was about. Killing the image of the black man. Now we can mass incarcerate him in the 90s. Like, yo, it's the same play. I'd be glad when people wake up and realize this shit. It's the same play. Ain't no difference. What they did to the black man in the 90s, and I mean the 80s, ain't no different than what they doing to Diddy right now. They killed his image. Put wild allegations on him. Said he had sex tapes of him with men. Said it was minors. It's none of that. Most people still believe that shit. Because once the information is disseminated, it's hard to forget. You know what I mean? I can tell you that this person killed 5 people and then find out that he didn't. And then come back and be like, yo, that was bad information, yo. He ain't killed 5 people, he only killed 3. But it's out there now. Now the whole world think this person killed 5 people. You understand? Like, once a lie gets thrown out there to the public, you can't take it back. Can't take it back. Even if you try to retract it, it's still going to be out there. You know, the same people might not heard that information. All they got is the first set of information. And that's what the whole Diddy shit was about, man. Yeah, man. It was about killing his image, man. They killed his image. Now they can run over him in court. Every single juror that's going to be, what they call that shit? What the fuck they call the jurors? Well, it's going to be questioned. It's a name for it. You feel me? Because that's how you know that shit be. So look, every juror, yo, that's going to be, dang, I can't think of the correct term for the word. But that's going to be questioned about the Diddy shit. They know about it. They know about it, yo. That's why, yo, we gotta guard our image, yo. We gotta stop allowing these motherfuckers to kill our image and disguise it as content. They disguise it as entertainment. That's why when you got the black man wearing the dress and shit like that, yo, that shit not funny. That shit ain't entertainment. That shit ain't stylish. No, bitch. You pushing a narrative. You trying to make that shit cool. You trying to make us look foolish. Because you don't see other races doing it. If other races did these things, I would have nothing to say. But since it seems like it's only one race being singled out with the exploitation and the propaganda, we gotta call it what it is. You gotta call it what it is. Fuckery. Perception is reality, bro. You know that. People gotta understand that, yo, perception is reality, yo. It might not be my reality. It might not be your reality, but it's somebody's reality. Especially somebody that don't know you or know your people. And all they get, only way they see black people is through the internet and through the eyes of entertainment. They build a certain perception around that. But we be supporting the fuckery. So we gotta take blame too. We support the fuckery. We don't call it out when we see it. We make excuses for it. Ain't shit funny about 6070 at all. Grown ass man pushing ignorance, acting like a fucking 5-year-old. Nothing funny. Nothing funny about Charleston White. It's a fucking bozo. You sit there and say some of the wildest things that you don't believe for views. It's dangerous. Yo, people gotta understand, yo, the world is watching. We not the only ones watching, man. The world is watching, and they building perceptions off of the things that they saying. They're shaping their reality of us off the things that they're saying. And that can become dangerous, that can become hazardous, and that can cause problems. But I didn't talk about it enough, man. People gotta say it for themselves. You know, people want to believe in magic and shit. Motherfuckers grown ups and still want to believe in magic. Brian Barnes, what's up? Yeah, we easy to influence. We is easy to influence. We got a large ignorant population, but it's a large ignorant population in the world, though. That's where everybody make their money at. Everybody make their money off ignorance. There's money in keeping the people ignorant, man. You know, I always talk about that. It's very profitable. It's no profit in enlightening the people. You know, if people is enlightening. I think I said the word right. Enlightening. I can't say it right. Whatever. People tend to not spend as much money. People tend to shift their focus on other things that doesn't make other people rich. So we gotta keep them ignorant. We gotta keep them slow. We gotta keep them wanting more. We're gonna call it entertainment. We're gonna bring Wack 100 online and have Wack 100 snitch openly, and we're gonna call it content. Just gotta pay attention to what's going on, man. I can't be the only one telling people. Because all it does is fuck me over in the process. And they ain't like people support the platform on the daily. So, it is what it is. See, when it come down to Diddy, Kathy, my take on Diddy, right? You know why Diddy is going through this? Kathy? This case ain't about no motherfucking Cassie. Cassie wanted money. Cassie ain't want Diddy in prison. This case is about Diddy beef with that liquor company. So do I agree with Diddy? Do I think Diddy was moving wild and reckless? Man, fuck yeah, Diddy was moving wild and reckless. But when I weigh Diddy's situation, right? The wild, the reckless things he did. When I weigh that with the fact that they came down on him because he tried to go head up with the liquor company and won. And he had reason to go head up with him. It ain't like he didn't have reason. He explained it to people. He turned Ciroc up, made Ciroc $1 billion liquor. The only thing he was promised was that they was gonna give him his own liquor. So once they gave him his own liquor, they didn't promote it at all. They didn't promote it. They did not provide any avenues for him to grow his brand. So he sued them, which he should have. So they came down on Diddy for that. Because they looked at it like, yo, how dare you? You understand? So they came down on him for that. So when I factor that versus what Diddy did, when I factor corporations coming down on a black man for speaking up versus what Diddy did, I'm going to choose Diddy's side over the corporation. 100% of the time. 100% of the time. That's my take on Diddy. That's why I support Diddy. Ain't got shit to do with what he did. Because Diddy paid for what he did to Cassie. You know what I mean? He paid for what he did to Cassie. Cassie got paid. What the fuck is this for? Yo, when have we ever seen this? I always say this. Yo, we ain't never seen nobody pay a lawsuit and then get charged for it. That's not how that goes. We in red territory right now, man. He paid the lawsuit. If he was going to get charged, he shouldn't even have paid. It's not how that goes. We never seen this before. Not in my lifetime. I'll be 40. In my lifetime, I never seen it. I seen OJ get found guilty. I seen OJ get sued. I seen Bill Cosby get sued. I seen Michael Jackson get sued. But I ain't never see a person get sent to jail after they paid the lawsuit. Nah. Typically how it goes is once they lose the case, then that's when the suits come. That's typically how it goes. But in Diddy case, that's how you know it's some bullshit behind it. Because Diddy paid the lawsuit, then they charged him with the crimes of the lawsuit. Bogus. I'm going to stand against that. Bill Cosby's not in jail no more. They did Bill Cosby dirty. Bill Cosby had a plea deal for 18 months. His lawyer didn't even tell him about it. Got the man 8 years. Lawyer was in on the play. Kelly got sued too. But he didn't get sued till after he got found guilty. It was always after they was found guilty. Never before. Never before. They don't pay lawsuits and then go to jail. What the fuck is the point? You pay the lawsuit so you don't go to jail. For the most part. You don't pay a lawsuit and then still get sent to jail. That's fucking counterproductive. That defeats the whole purpose. You don't think so? Would you pay a lawsuit if you knew you was gonna get charged for it afterwards? Or is you paying this money with the understanding that this shit is gonna go away? Let me know, man. Maybe I'm confused. But then I gotta get these kids up. It's 113. I appreciate everybody that tapped in. If you can support the platform, Cash App, Baltimore Swag, share the live, hit the like button if you didn't hit the like button. Yeah, yo, let's get to 50 likes. We have 67 people, 47 likes. Let's at least get to 50. If you can support the platform, support the movement, we're keeping it all the way real. I think when it came down to Diddy case, we've been keeping it the realest, and everything we saying has been truthful and honest, and it's coming into fruition. Only thing now is we're gonna see what happened at court. But everything leading up to this, like I told y'all, yo, it ain't gonna be no motherfucking celebrities being named. This is not to take down the Hollywood. Yo, just remember, y'all, when they used to give us the blues over here for telling the truth. Yeah, I know, y'all, but what I'm saying when it comes down to Diddy is Diddy paid the lawsuit civilly and they charged him criminally. That doesn't happen. But yo, they used to give us the blues over here, man. Yo, how you know that? You don't know what you talking about. Watch how many people get it. Diddy going snitch. I'm like, oh, Diddy ain't doing no snitching. Diddy trying to prove a point. Diddy ain't even taking no plea deal. Watch Justin Bieber this, videos this. Like, yo, do y'all remember those things, yo? Do y'all remember us over this bitch having to fight tooth and nail because these people wanted to believe a lie? They wanted to believe a lie. I'm like, yo, when have we ever seen that? We just seen a lot of prominent men get took down. We ain't never seen to take down to Hollywood because at the end of the day, even this too, when it come down to Diddy, this is how they wanted to run. So it's not cool. I don't respect the fact that every now and then they just pick people and make them the face of it. When in reality, if Diddy go to prison the rest of his life, Hollywood is still gonna be moving like this. It ain't changing it. So what Diddy in jail for? If we ain't changing the dynamics of Hollywood, if we not changing quid pro quo, if we not changing what do you call it? Sex trafficking through coercion, then why is Diddy arrested? If they're not changing the whole concept of Hollywood and how it's ran, what good does Diddy going to jail change? You understand what I'm saying? But yo, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. It's another day of QBG News, and I'm out.